Well, it's a beautiful evening in the New Forest studio in the Blacktooth camp, the stinking Fox's Den, where wonderful sounds and terrible smells are birthed. May I wish you a beautiful day, and I am going to first off apologise for the delay. I should have started this a while ago. But here we are, and that's that. So I've got some tremendous news. It's once a month I go out guitar shopping. I have a guitar broker. He's brilliant, and I see my broker and see what he's got for me. And he's usually got like things like if I mention something, then it's there next time. Let's just have a short interlude as we appreciate a sound. It's not a bass, I can promise you that. But what a crazy sound, eh? What a great sound. So, any questions? Put them in the chat and I shall do my best to answer. Being a bigger mug, getting a bigger mug going, there's some joke there that I can't be bothered to make, but yeah, a nice I'm turning into another one of those dicks that goes online and is like, look at my vanilla latte. For fuck's sake. But it is the weekend now. Oh, you have to excuse me. Talking about flamenco. Flamenco and classical are different disciplines. I'm not really any good at neither. It's not my focus. Far more into electric playing, and obviously my acoustic stuff is mainly steel string. But I've always been interested in that nylon string element. Now, I think I've mentioned it at other times on other streams and stuff, but you know, the perfect guitar day for me starts with a session on the nylon string. Now, this nylon string that I've got, it's an Encore. It's about 20 years old, and I mean, it was made in China, right? It was given to me by Stone Pillow, who were the people, when I was homeless, they put me in the hostel. You know, they provide like a day centre. So, you know, you've got somewhere to be in the day, sit and watch telly and, you know, have a cup of tea. They were literally a godsend, and they're brilliant. And it used to be like, you know, a long time ago, going back 20 years again, 20 years ago, when this was new, they were part of the Christian Care Association. That's no longer the case, and that's a subtle distinction. The feel of them, having been involved with them, you know, through homelessness, the feeling of them, very secular, very progressive and very down to earth, but they're not looking to like bolster the numbers of their flock by charitable means. So that's cool. I respect them all the more for that. Anyway, Stone Pillow gave me this. It was a donation, and someone had put a sticker on it saying for Tim Fox. I didn't have a guitar of my own at the time, and around the same sort of no, I had already borrowed a steel string, a really nice Yamaha electroacoustic that very dear friend out there who might be watching, hope he is, because it'd be great for you to see what's coming up. Lent me, that Yamaha that you've seen me do like Guerrilla Gig podcast and whatnot with. Anyway, you've seen me do Guerrilla Gig podcast with this. It's a little Encore. A lot of people hate on Encore, but this is the crazy thing. Encore guitars that are like 25, 30 years old, and the ones from the early 90s and the ones from the 80s are getting real money. It's shocking. And they were horrible then, and they're horrible now. But going around the roundabouts, not all of them are bad, because wood is wood. Some of their models through the range were honest, like good, well engineered items. And the Encores nowadays are a completely different kettle of fish. The quality control is beyond like anything we had. You see, because the funny thing is, this is the funny thing. There's a great channel called 5 Watt World, a guy called Keith. He's a lovely guy, and he does the little histories of, and he's just done the Les Paul Junior. And he talks about the Melody Maker and the Junior being student guitars. Now, the Melody Maker was $159. $159. Now, that is about the lowest price that brand new you can get a decent guitar. I've seen like RGOs, Ibanez RGs, the Geo series, at like that exactly that price. And what a tremendous guitar, what tremendous heritage and design that guitar has at 159 quid. So this is what I'm saying. Even in the 60s, all the way to now, the price of a beginner guitar has been the same. It's been 159 quid specifically. And you can track that back all the way back. But this is the difference. Now, 159 quid will actually get you something okay. And I can point to like the Jacksons, the cheapy Jacksons. They're very good. I find them a bit unfinished, but for the money, it's like they have a really good balance of like hardware, design, wood, and finish. But they are kind of almost not quite finished. So it's like they just want that final sort of loving touch. And that's something you can do yourself. And that I like about Jackson now. It's like they're shaving the money in the right areas, if that makes sense. Because if you know what you're doing, you can like make pretty much any guitar sound good. And those Jacksons, give them some love, brand new, 150 quid, something like that, 159 quid. And actually you've got a real weapon. You could stand shoulder to shoulder with anybody doing, the metal thing, if you know what you're doing. Anyway, I'm coming along in my my collection of tones, and one of the vital tones to have in a studio is the nylon string. Now, there's classical guitars and flamenco guitars. Classical guitars are generally like they have a thicker neck and like a higher action and a beefier construction. And in many ways, they're the most pure form of guitar playing because nothing's helping you. Even with a steel string, you have a certain amount of resonance and natural reverberation going on in this cavernous body that is kind of helping you. And with an electric guitar, certainly with distortion or gain, you've got loads helping you. They're essentially like a wind instrument by then. You're hitting a note and it's just going on forever. And it has many of the characteristics of a wind instrument or like a driven wind instrument, like, the organs, like church organs, that pipe so much air through those big long tubes, those pipes. But nothing's helping you with this. This is like as stripped back as it's possible to be, and it's just you and the fretboard. Now, just lately, I think I must have played. Did you remember I played you the thing where it's got a classical guitar intro, and one of them was done with the keyboards, right? Literally. Let me move around because I've got to show you something, okay? Just move around a bit. Right. I'm going to show you something. So, I did it on a recording called Am I Hoof? I did it with like hard left and hard right, simple microphone, condenser microphone, just picking up the air, this guitar, and that was hard left, and on hard right was the keyboard there, going on the line in on the recording, and that was the intro. And you'd never know that was keyboard unless I told you that. You'd never know that was keyboard. I don't know, but that's on a previous episode, and I'm actually really proud of that. Doing stuff like that in the studio, it's a real buzz. It's a real fun thing, because to me, like, the art of recording, like, is doing your songs like in a really tight way and adding enough like color and interesting like subtlety and elements that make up for the fact that it's not live and that it's being played the same over and over and over and over again, which isn't natural. It's an unnatural act, really. To play an album and listen to albums all the time over and again is a kind of unnatural act. Live music is where it's at, and that's always a bit different every time. And there's like, got chill just a moment. And there's energy in it, and so it's a bit different, with a studio recording. You listen to the same thing all the time, so you have to do it. You can't just like lay it down straight. I mean, you can, but it'll get boring. You need to sort of like do what Pink Floyd do and just like slowly, paint in so many little layers of subtlety that it's still the same when you play it live. It's just, there's all this stuff, like, it's hard to, it's like there, okay, there's a keyboard going with the guitar. I'd still play this live, yeah, I'll be still going. So you're still getting the same thing, but there's actually a keyboard overdub. And I might do something else really low in the mix, really bass. Yeah, do you see what I mean? Like an accordion or something completely different. So, now that's not cheating in any way. It's just what it's doing. It's making what's already there just way more interesting, because you're going to be listening to it over and over and again. So, yeah, classical guitars, a bit sturdier, blah, blah, blah. And this is a classical guitar. It plays really nicely. I've been on the lookout for another one, because this is starting to like buzz and have a rustle. to a little rustling sound that I can't pin down. But you know, it's solid, and it's probably what I'll use for busking and all that. It's got like a sentimental value, so I don't feel like inclined. Like I feel like I want to get rid of it at this moment. So this is a flamenco guitar, and something quite amazing happened. So, like as I was saying, I have this guitar broker. Went in. There's a guitar I've been looking at for ages, and I never get it. I always get something else. But even since the first day I went in there, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I've got something else. I got the Silver Burst, like Les Paul alike, right? And then the next time I got the Black Telly, right? And so yeah, and on and on. So there's this guitar that I've been looking at and never getting, right? And I went in to get it this week, and I goes, "What you got?" Blah blah blah, and he goes, "Oh, I've got that." He goes, "And no one wants it." He goes, "People keep picking it up, and like, you know," and he goes, "It's a really nice guitar, and I'll let it go for 60 quid, right?" And I did the maths, right, and I've worked out what would be acceptable to me, right, what I'd pay, and I said, "All right," I said, "Well, what about both? You know, what's the best price you can do for both?" And I've never ever haggled this man, right, never once. He's always done it himself. Like I've gone in there and he'll say, "Oh, right, that's 90 quid. I'll do it to you 75 cash. Yeah, I'll do it to you 80 quid cash." Like always, he's done me fantastic deals, and he's thrown extra bits in. Really happy. That's why I go back month after month, because he's always going to have something interesting. He's a nice guy, and I don't need to get fucking. He doesn't do any hard sell, or he just lets me get on with it. Just go in and have a look. If I like it, I have it. If I don't, I don't. Yeah, it's like he's not a fucking. I hate people that get right into selling you things, and it's like, no, it's just if I mention that there's something that I'm looking for, like it tends to turn up. But he doesn't make like promises and fucking drag you back in. And, you know, I mean, he's great. Like, and I haven't haggled once. He's done it for me, and because the fact is, I've always been happy to pay the price that he's asked before he's knocked himself down. You know, and actually, when it was like through the lockdown, I got his number off the front of the shop when I went walking the dog down that way, and I actually rang him up like one payday. I said, "Look, you know, you're not able to open. Do you want to like, you know, if I like, if you put them in the window or whatever, and I'll have a look, and then you can like hand it out to me like somehow." And and so what we did, we actually met. Like he'd come down and we'd meet, and so I was able to like go and buy stuff from there still, like all the way through lockdown, and you know, just by doing it sensibly, like, you know, just by doing it sensibly, you know, it's like you know, it's like I basically like see something I like, try it out, yeah, that's up to scratch, buy it, gone, like, you know what I mean, didn't have to like break any rules or anything. And I think he like might have, you know, it must have been tough, which is why I rang him up, because I thought it must be, you know, he must be tough. And it's like, you know, it's like I generally put like a good budget aside for, you know, for guitars. Like that's the maximum amount that I'll allow myself to spend, like, you know, and I'll do it like month after month after month, you know, and it's like I'll be a good little customer, no fucking about. And so I kept it up through the lockdown. I think he appreciated it, because he's done me a great favor here. He said the price, and it was a lot less than the price that I had in my mind. And I don't know a lot about nylon string guitars. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I like playing them. I like a good one. But, you know, it's like it's still very much a learning curve, which is why I love it, because it brings me to cases. The nylon string, like, puts me to my maximum effort, puts me to cases. You know what I mean? It doesn't let me off. Makes me realize I'm still a student, is what I'm saying. Makes me realize I am not a master of the fretboard. I am a student of the fretboard. I am so far away from being even like a good player, right? A moderately good player, that like fucking it's untrue. It will take like more than a human lifetime to even scratch the surface of the history that's gone before on this fretboard, and I feel it most on a guitar like this. And this is a 1978 Manuel Raimundo. This is a 145 model. It's a Negra. This is German spruce. It comes from the mountainside, so it's really slow growth, and so hence this really like narrow grain that you get there. The bridge is hilariously light. The guitar is hilariously light. The sides are Indian rosewood. Okay. The back is Indian rosewood. The like purfling and the fine work is just fantastic. The fretboard is ebony. The neck is cedar. The tuning pegs are posh. And there are no fret markers. So I googled it when I got home. I found a guitar similar. So like, let's say that I paid, okay, like the electric guitar that I was getting was up on the wall for 85 quid. He said he was selling this, he would let this go for 60 quid and nobody wanted it. So I worked that out in my mind and I thought, okay, that's 85, yeah, plus 60, right? That's 145, okay. I thought, if he says 130, take that, right? That was my thinking. Take that. And he goes, you can have it for 100 quid. And I was like, done. 100 quid, done. And I equate that as being 70 quid, yeah, for the electric guitar. Because it was 85, and 30 quid for the maybe a couple of grand's worth of, Manuel Raimundo Studio Flamenco guitar. One of the few, this is one of the premier. I don't, Google it yourself, have a look if you don't know. There are classical guitarists out there that know that, flamenco guitarists. I am so ignorant at this game to deserve an instrument like this. The only way that I can justify it is I look and I think, okay, eat like a cat. Like, I've always had a view of getting an electroacoustic nylon string, like I use the two matching LTDs on stage. Like, they're two exactly like, if I snap a string, pick up the other guitar, and then like whoever's your stage tech or like whichever like other person who knows guitars a bit is there, or you do it in the break, put a string back on the one that's just had the string broken while the B guitar's being played. So there's always a spare guitar. So if you snap a string, you just turn around and pick up the other guitar. That's the way to do it. I implore you, whoever you are, if you play live, have two guitars. Now, acoustically, what I was going to do was get a nylon string and have that as the B guitar, or because it's in whatever the weather, a nylon string. If your hands are wounded, if your fingers are aching, if your skin's raw, you can still play, a nylon string in any condition, in the rain, in anything. So, like, I thought, right, what a great guitar to have as a B guitar. And, of course, there's those songs that I like to do that actually were written on a nylon string and should be performed on a nylon string. And Eat Like a Cat is one of those. So, I saw one similar and it was 2,250 quid. And as someone pointed out, it's not just that you've got like an extremely one of the top shelf, one of the best flamenco guitars that are on the market. It's a vintage one. It's a 1978 and it cost me 30 quid. And the guy knew it as well, because he goes, well, he did. He goes like, oh, you can look it up. He goes, that's a 700 quid guitar. And I thought, but then I looked at it and I said, oh yeah, that's nicely put together. My ignorant fucking eyes. Oh yeah, that's nicely put together, because what it is the thin wood, the really thin wood, like binding. Well, fuck me, that's really nice work, right? The back's really nice, and then that top, I was like, oh yeah, it's a solid top. Oh, and then I learned that, oh yeah, it's like a really narrow grain in places, right? In places, it's a really narrow grain, like it's like phone book pages, and in other places, it's a bit wider. And so it's like, oh, that's a slow growing, totally dense like tree. Like so, you get like it's just this is a negro. I think. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm on the learn like right now, and like this is new to me. Like that encore was perfectly adequate for me. That's how much of a fucking cunt I am. It's like that encore was perfectly adequate for me, and they're quite hated, frankly. I think they're considered quite shit. But I can get a sound out of it. Like that would do. I thought that would do me. And the thing is that story. The fact that Stone Pillow gave it to me, like, makes that a very sweet thing. But I have to say, this is beautiful to play. By the way, it's so like the neck shape, and it is, and nothing's meant to be easy. This is a guitar for like playing and for tone. Nothing's meant to be easy. Now I don't like playing it like that, and I find that it actually like muffles the guitar because you're gripping it here, and it sort of muffles it. It doesn't let it like spring about. Like I have it perched. Okay, I have it perched, like my hand and my knee, and I perch the guitar like on hard point, which is why you see it's like quite often my guitars are like that instead of being like this. Like my acoustic especially are kind of like that because what I'm doing is perching it using a very minimum of contact, yeah, between me and the guitar, so it projects really well. So and I'll do that, of course, with this. This is a wonderfully reactive guitar. It's been a long fucking time since I had a guitar that had a top that was reactive. That I thought, fuck me, I'm expressing like with finger pressure and action, delivery, execution. Just it's been since the '60s Gibson J45 that like I had for 6 months in like 1998 when I was like doing the when I was in the studio, like, and I borrowed a bunch of guitars. Like that guitar was so magical. That introduced me as what is possible with a vintage acoustic. Its good sides were its bad sides. It was just a very strong personality. It was a different guitar every day. Like you'd wake up one day and it'd feel one way, and then the next day it'd be different. And it would literally move around, but change its character. But it was always magical, and it was one of the few guitars where it's doing something extra. Something extra is going on. Like I'm playing like something else, something extra is happening. So, yeah, I mean, wow. So, this is a real piece of kit. And I'll be recording with it. Look at that back. And I'm really humbled by it. Someone said to me I think on the last live stream, they said, you don't find guitars find you. I'm not going to sell this, because of course it occurs to me that I could melt this down and turn it into an ESP or an E2, or an Eternal, or anything. Nice 80s Ibanez Destroyer. I seen a Silverburst one. It just blew me away. It had the Dimarzio pickups that are the bars, the humbuckers that are just like the bars. So like 2 bar pieces. I think that I could 2 of those, and they were white in a Silverburst with all chrome fittings, like Ibanez Destroyer. It was just beautiful. It was like really beautiful, like beautiful inlays. It was just beautiful, and like you look how much that is, and you compare that to a Gibson Explorer, and you think, why would I ever buy a Gibson new? Why would I buy a Gibson at the prices that they are? Like there is an inordinate taxation on that silk screen at the top of the headstock. But yeah, so like this is the good news. A top flight, top of the range, absolute prestige, way beyond what I deserve. maybe up to 2.5 grand fucking nylon string. Humbling. And I should put it to good use, like as best as I can. And as I said, it's like, the best days. I said it was the best days for me start with the nylon string, and it's been this old plunker, this old Encore, and I mean, that's one thing I'll give this. I don't matter about clanking it and dinking it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, it's an Encore. If busked and it's been on the street, and if I go busking tomorrow, this is the guitar I take. So like, I'll definitely keep hold of it. But it's got that like sentimental aspect to it. But yeah, every day pretty much. I start the day with a bit of this. Look out for the buzz. There's like a rustle going on, and that's why I've been looking out for a new one. I still find it playable. So that's my classical guitar. It's an Encore. It works. To be honest, I can't criticise it. It's quite a bright sounding little thing because they're generally quite dead, and that's not a bad sounding thing. It's not terrible, but by which I mean it's quite consistent compared to what I would expect. I think like things are still settling in with this, like same as with the electric guitar that I bought, which I haven't shown you yet. It's settling in, and it's like every hour it's playing better. But on both guitars, I think the strings are new, but I don't know. They seem like they're new, and they've been played an awful lot, but they seem like they've been standing around a long time. I don't really want to stretch them. I'd rather just play them in. So there's a bit of like pain in the artery involved. There's no fret marker, so I find it really hard to like find my way around on it. But like, I'm just adoring it. Trust me. Dennis, I will do Grantchester Meadows on a Manuel Raimundo. But not now. So there it is. Like, wow. It's like I've won the lottery. It's like I've won the lottery. Alright. You know, a few weeks ago I got my electroacoustic, my gigging guitar, my steel string, and I still don't know what that is, but it's really nice. It's really responsive, and it's quite, it's quite sturdy. Like it's working out well. I've got a sound hole. Well, I'll show you. But yeah, it's got like a sound hole pickup in it as well as the piezo. I think on the last live stream I talked about, how I get the sound out of like mixing the two. I like this guitar. I really like this. I'll have to investigate this further when I finish streaming. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? I've got my acoustics. It's possible. Like, there's an old school method, like plugging in a nylon string. I'll look into it. But to be honest, chances are that I probably will still get some kind of electroacoustic nylon string for gigging down the line. I'm not sure if I'd want to sort of take that to, the toilets of the UK doing my fucking open mic nights and terrible little gigs. I'm not sure. And I love it, don't get me wrong. I'm disparaging out of affection, But it's like, yeah, I don't know whether I'd want to take that around, all those places. I think it would have to be gigs where you're at least sort of afforded some respect as an artist, and they sort of like, give you like a place where you can relax before and after and focus and get changed, and like what a dressing room is like, with the mirror and the lights. I don't need a mirror and lights, but there's something very specific about that atmosphere that focuses the mind. Sat in that spot is focusing the mind before the show. Perfect. That's how it should be, really, for every performer that's like, that's actually like on a proper stage where there's an audience. I mean, there should be like a place where they can gather themselves. They shouldn't be left to just sort of sit, amongst the crowd, not because like they should be separate from the crowd by any means, but because they should have a fucking moment to gather themselves to become the person that they are required to be by the stage itself. There's nothing, although it is interpreted often as like egomania, it isn't really, because in many ways you are the servant, not the master again. And the stage requires a certain, massiveness, qualities that in real life are overbearing. You're there to entertain. So I mean, if you can be Hawk the Slayer for fucking 50 minutes, fucking do it. If you can be like some painter of a picture for like that amount of time that people are sat in front of you, fucking do it. And you should do it. And if that means that you have to wear makeup or have a silly haircut or whatever, all fucking power to you. I don't give, like, I totally, it annoys me when you get like, I mean, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about music, and it annoys me when people say like, oh, it has to be done this way or that way, or there's a specific must do, like a specific set of rules, because the whole joy of rock and roll is there's no rules. Nobody would do what Captain Beefheart did. Nobody would make those creative choices, but they were the right creative choices, but nobody would have made them. An artist must be given room to do his thing or her thing, and more power to them. And like the artists that interest me are all a little bit extreme and over the top, and quite often they suffered dreadfully for it, and a lot of them didn't have a healthy relationship with their creative life. That is a scary prospect. I think there's maybe been a couple of times where I've brushed that, but I'm not there now. I feel that my creative life is like maybe my most healthy one. Anyway, the new trad strat layout got completely overshadowed by the remarkable flamenco experience. But yeah, what do you think? So yeah, the snake skin, not an ESP by any means, but with EMGs for Axel, the same as me Black Telly. I was really impressed with the Black Telecaster. It's been a great guitar that I enjoy more and more and more. It's the guitar that anything clean on my recordings on the 8-track, anything clean has been done with the Black Telecaster. The red Telecaster, the Paisley Burst, started to give it a run for its money, but no, like the black one run out in the end, and that's what I use for recording cleans. But yeah, that too has got, like, basically the Black Telecaster. I didn't really like the headstock at first. I found it rather ugly, but I like it more and more. I thought, yeah, if I ever see a Strat, like, I'll get it. Like, because the telly's so good, I'll get. So a trad Strat, yeah, with the three single coils, is on the hit list, because my Strat, as you can see, employs a humbucker. And so, yeah, like a trad Strat, it's been on the hit list for some time. And I think this is wonderful. It plays so well. The form and fit is way beyond anything I've seen. I'm not going to name names, but the people that would go after these people if they put like a proper headstock on it, when they get it to fit as snug as that, it ends up cracking a little bit. Just an aesthetic, it's only the finish, but it cracks. The lacquer cracks. Okay, this is perfect. The fucking Black Telly is perfect. Okay, wow. Okay, wow. Now, like, this thing has never been played. Like, the Black Telecaster had never fucking been played. Never, right? There was nowhere on the frets. This has nowhere on the frets at all. And as a few, like, sort of bits of flash and chippity-dippity as I was, like, going through it, like, and the fretboard shouldn't be that light. As you look, it's a more sort of, like, rosy wood sort of finish. If you look down yeah, see that? See right? See that? So what's happened is this has been somewhere like a shop window and it's just literally washed out this. So, like, I'm going to get some lemon oil or whatnot and go darken it up again. At the moment, it's like a very interesting pissy color, but none of the frets have sprouted. The fretwork is wonderful, exactly like on the Black Telly. But this has got more of this has got a very Clapton-esque sort of V-neck shape. It's like a V profile. And there's some flame on that. I don't know if you can catch that, but this is a nice fucking bit of wood. And it feels very dense, but it feels like, yes, nice finishing. The frets is really smooth. It's really friendly. It's a really great place to be. Wow. Like, again, like just all the same things that I said about the Black Telecaster, the Axel. That one's a player series. This one's a collection. Right? I don't know if that means anything because they look about the same, like in terms of quality and all that. Let's see how far away it was in terms of in terms of sound, right? In terms of tuning. Oh wow, isn't that bad actually? I'll sort it out in a bit. You don't know where that, but yeah. So this is the latest guitar, and I've been playing it all day, and it's just getting better and better and better. I've only used the whammy bar gently in a sort of Hank Marvin fashion because that's really what that guitar is for. In answer to Shane's question about whammy bars on Strats, the vintage whammy bars, I'm going to do a special episode just about that when I change the strings on my other Strat. Well, it's been wonderful. Sorry, no questions have come up in the chat there. But if you go back to the last episode, the chat was really lively. It was great. But I really enjoy doing these, and I kind of enjoy letting you in to the studio processes. I'm banging away at it. I've got some good material coming down the pipe, and it's coming together really nicely. There's going to be quite a good body of work by the time I'm done, and the Silver Machine is holding its own. so far so good. This is a very functional little studio. It's doing the job. It's getting my material down nicely. I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm improving still as I'm going. So, like it'll cycle around. Certain tracks will get done again, and it'll be a later cycle. But there's some that I'd say that are pretty close to being done. Um, but yeah, I've yet to really tackle the acoustic thing, and the reason for that is I bought a nice little pair of condenser mics, and I want to use them, but I haven't got any phantom power just yet. So I've got to get a mixing desk, I've got to get a mixing desk and just a little one, and a couple of other sort of like devices that will supply phantom power for like a DI box and other circumstances. So there's a bit of delay on that. So generally, when I do record acoustic, I do like acoustic simulation because I'm really trying to get the very best out of the acoustic simulation effect on electric guitar. Because I will be using that, like in the rock and roll songs. I want to be using it more because the fact that electric guitar can suddenly become an acoustic, and also there's the fact, and I don't want to spell it out, but there's certain like electric guitar designs that there's no acoustic equivalent. Okay, like a whammy bar, for instance. Okay, right. I'm not going to get into any more. But think about the tonal possibilities of like using an electric guitar as an acoustic guitar sound. So the acoustic simulator to me is very much worth exploring because not only is it like a simulator, like a living, breathing cover tune of itself, yeah, like it's a fake acoustic done on electric. It's actually a sound unto itself. It has potentialities that are uniquely its own. Floyd Rose acoustic, get me. Finger picking with a Floyd Rose, do you get me? There are things there. So I'm working hard on my acoustic simulator sounds, and I've got like 3 different ways of modeling. I've got 3 different like acoustic simulation engines, and it's very interesting the characteristics of each. But I'll be doing a thing about that. Anyway, big love to you all. There's Gorilla Gig podcasts that have already been recorded that just haven't been uploaded. There'll be a stream on Tuesday. There'll probably be I'll just do stuff as I feel like it, to be honest. But have a great time. And if there's anything you want me to do, like can you do some more tunes, or can you do us lessons, or like whatever, just put it in the comments. And it'd be great if you subscribe to the channel. That really helps. But go safely, stay well, and don't fucking like upset the entire world by doing some terrible tweet or something like that.